welcome to Poppy's Garage. Dr. Wrench here. And today I am Dr. Wrench because Dr. Wrench is going to do some wrenching. Now, I have to somewhat apologize to you. I'm going to retract a little something that I posted on Thursday. I reviewed the CAT Professional Power Station that I purchased at Costco for $99.99. On Thursday, I gave it a 4.5-star rating because I've had the unit for 9 months, about 9 months. On Friday morning, I went to be a nice neighbor and help my neighbor air up one of his tires. But lo and behold, when I hooked the valve, right here, the SureFit valve, onto the Schrader valve of the tire, I immediately heard air hissing out of the guy's tire, going through my hose, and it sounded like it was coming out of my unit. I thought that kind of odd. So I started pumping air into the tire, but it wasn't increasing any pressure. As a matter of fact, it was losing pressure on the tire. I shut off the unit, apologized, handed the man my Schwinn bicycle pump, and said, "Have at it, dude, put 50 shots in there, and you should be good to go." So then I take my my professional station in the house and took it apart because I knew there was a problem. And that's just it. I don't just return things. I like to know what happens. It's my livelihood. I need to know what makes things tick. And what happened here, here's the inside of the unit, all right? Here's the very large battery that they put in there, probably about the size of a battery they use in a Harley Davidson motorcycle, big fat boy or something like that. Close to the size I had mine. And then right here in this area is where the air compressor pump fits. As you can see, it's been removed. The air compressor pump is sitting right here. And I'm gonna move this out of the way so you can probably see the air compressor. And here it is. What I found when I opened up that unit was right here. We got a brass bushing with this air hose, pressure hose, that's attached to it that I've removed. And I found this brass bushing out of the top of the cylinder head. Now, this compressor works just like a piston on your engine of your car. If you just rotate it, you can see inside there is a crankshaft, a connecting rod, then up in this area is a piston. It just goes up and down, and that's what pumps the air pressure up through this valve here, and also out of this hose here, which is connected to the tire of the vehicle. So when I found this thing out, I knew there's my air leak. That's the hissing noise I heard. And I thought, why did that happen? So I pushed it back down there and it popped back out. Now inside of here, underneath this brass bushing, is a spring and a check valve that fits into the bottom right above the top of the piston. So when you're done pumping, it springs down, holds the air into the cylinder so you don't lose air coming out of the tire. So it checks it, stops it. What happened was, they didn't secure this in any way, shape, or form. They just merely stuck that brass bushing into a somewhat of a tight fit aluminum cylinder here and pushed it down. From vibration, it worked its way out, and 9 months of vibration. And believe me, I've used this compressor many times and I have no problem with it until yesterday. It really kind of pissed me off. And I'm not done with the manufacturer. They're gonna be hearing about this from me. So I thought there's a couple of ways I can repair this. And I'm gonna do that right now. One, this is a battery cable clamp to remove battery terminals off of a battery the right way. And what I'm using it for now is a press. I pushed the brass bushing down, and I've got a pin punch here, and I'm gonna give it a sharp blow with my ball peen hammer. And what I'm gonna do is shot peen that thing. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing on that aluminum housing of the cylinder head over the top of that brass part. So now when I do that, that brass part is gonna fit down inside there nice and tight against the rubber O-ring that's inside there, and it's not gonna come out. And there's another shot peen. All right, so now what I do is I come over here and I loosen up my battery clamp. So now look at it. This brass bushing is sitting tight up against that O-ring inside there, and there is not gonna be any air leaking out of here. And to make sure that's gonna happen, I'm gonna use some good old-fashioned Loctite Super Seal. something they could have done very easily, but that probably cost them a half a cent to do, and they can save a half a cent if they manufacture thousands of these things. Okay, so let's do this, and then I'm going to take the compressor off, flip it upside down, because I don't want this Loctite sealer to get down inside of this valving in there, and the check valve or that spring in there. I'm just putting a little seal of this stuff right around here on the opening, just like that. Now I'm going to take the compressor off of my clamp, hold it upside down until the Loctite sets up and dries. Okay, our crazy glue has been put on here, so it's sealed off any kind of possible air leak. I kind of doubt it because it was on there pretty tight against that O-ring. Now, if you look closely, you can see where I've shot peened this. Right there, see the point and how I pushed that aluminum cylinder head part over on top of that brass bushing. It's not coming out anymore. With all said, I dropped it from a 4.5 down to a 2 because I had to take this sucker out and fix somebody's stupid ass mistake. So we'll be back in a second and we're gonna try it out. All right, so I'm gonna finish assembling this and we're gonna give it a shot and see if everything works fine. We'll be back in a sec. So, with that said, now what we have to do is hook it up to a tire and see just how long it takes to air up a tire. And I've already let some air out of the tire on my car, so we can try it. And I think it'll work. And if it does work, I can promise you that BACA, or BACA, potato, potato, tomato, tomato, is going to hear about it from me. Because my repair worked, their assembly didn't work. It was very cheaply built, and in the future, these parts will fly apart, overheat the compressor, and I can understand why I have heard that some people said this thing is burned up. So with that said, let's get the car out here after a sip of paperweight. I owe it to myself. It's still hot outside. Anyways, let's get the car in here and air up the tire. Okay, as you can see, I've aired up the tire. I set my tire pressure at 35 pounds and I've got, we had 35.2, which is pretty accurate. And I'm liking it. The machine is now working. And I think that's wonderful. So with that said, guess what? I'm going to be calling the manufacturer in Boca Raton, Florida. Actually, I think I'd like to go there myself and talk to them. Be a good way to get out, but pandemic crap going on, kind of difficult. Anyways, with that said, stay tuned for my next video. It's going to be on waxes, because Dr. Wrench at Poppy's Garage loves shiny cars. And we're going to find out exactly which waxes I prefer best. All right, until then, you take care of yourself. Bye now.